here with GoDz. He's Australian. He's a Dota caster for Beyond the Summit. You just got back from a trip.
Yeah, I was in Singapore for a LAN event there. It was the Armageddon Dota 2 Grand Slam of Asia.
And it was sponsored by a nightclub.
Yeah, one of the sponsors, Zook, actually decided to get on board as well. I mean, as well as Red Bull and various other people. But it was sort of one of the peaks of the event, getting to go to the nightclub mid-tournament as well. But it was a lot of fun.
So how good of a dancer are you?
I'm not a good dancer, but I'm like proud of my lack of dancing skills, especially after a couple of drinks.
So you're not ashamed of anything. You're not embarrassed. You just kind of go for it.
After a few drinks, I'd say right off the bat. I mean, I can get right into it, but I don't actually enjoy nightclubs that much. I'm not much of a nightclub person. I prefer to sort of sit at home watching my TV shows, watching my Dota, listening to music, whatever. But when I'm in nightclubs after a few drinks, I start enjoying dancing quickly.
Are you? Do you do well for yourself there? Like how is it? Popular caster and all. Probably like a foot taller than everyone there. How is it with the fangirls?
In Asia, it's a lot easier than it is here in America, luckily for me. I think part of it just being tall, Caucasian, look like I've got myself a bit of money, look like I'm well off. I dress well there, which is something that I think the locals really struggle in a bit. And as a result, I do well for myself in Asia.
Okay,
yeah.
Wink, wink. I get it. I'm not surprised at all. So you're back here now, and what's a normal schedule for you and LD look like?
Normally we start casting when we have lots of events on, which we suddenly starting to do all of a sudden. Like first day back, I was casting from about 3, 4 in the morning until about 10 or 11, then sleep during the day. I've woken up like an hour ago. So,
and it's like midnight.
Yeah. There's a casting schedule. Then in between, we're starting to build our studio, and we haven't started building our studio. We're waiting for stuff to arrive. But once that gets here, we'll start building our studio and just working on our business development as well.
And you guys had this Kickstarter. You raised quite a bit of money, like what is it, $40,000?
Yeah, just short of 40,000.
And so how much bling are you gonna buy? How many cars?
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't go very far, especially, I blew a lot of it in Singapore. The casino there was absolutely fantastic.
Nice, okay.
Marina Bay Sands, they've got this new spanking freaking awesome casino.
What game do you play?
I play mostly poker and roulette.
Oh, what kind of poker? Just hold 'em?
Yeah.
You good? You good at hold 'em?
Well, I'm so-so. I'm very mixed results there. I generally don't come out on top, but every now and then I have a good streak.
Okay. You played tennis when you were younger, right? How was that?
I played tennis, for about 10 years of my life growing up. I basically stopped after high school, but especially when I was living in Singapore, I was playing almost on the competitive circuit there. I was actually looking to sort of break into the pro circuit following that, but...
Big serve?
Yeah, massive serve, of course. I'm 6'3", so it was the full package right there.
How many kilometers?
Probably getting up to about 180.
What?
170 maybe on a normal day, probably around 160.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You probably ace me. I'm terrible at tennis.
Yeah, but apart from that, I had the rest of my game was a bit shaky, and my mental game was not good. I'd go and tilt very easily, as is the case with most young players.
And who was your favorite tennis player?
When I was playing, it was actually David Nalbandian. I think partly.
I know that guy.
Yeah, partly because he's a David as well. I mean, as you can see from Beyond the Summit.
He has a ponytail?
Yep, ponytail.
Awkward looking.
Awkward, has this really scrappy kind of game, similar to Leighton Hewitt. I really like Leighton Hewitt just because of his game as well.
That guy's like 5'6". He's like shorter than I am.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have the big serve, but he's just this absolute fighter who would never give up.
Leighton Hewitt, that guy.
Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
And all his moves, like he did the little lawnmower thing going on. Like he just came up.
Lawnmower thing? What's that?
It's like one of his things when he won a point, he'd like dig into the ground. I don't know what it was. He looked absolutely ridiculous.
He sounds like one of those guys that if he played Dota, he would like gloat at the end of the games.
His like tennis moves are kind of like my dance moves. They're absolutely terrible, but he just does them with such conviction that you're like, that guy, he looks like an idiot, but at least he kind of...
Anytime you can be 30 years old and wear a backwards hat and pull it off kind of is a little cool.
Yeah, you're winning at life when you can do that. And his girlfriend is smoking hot.
Who's his girlfriend?
She's actually girlfriend, is his wife now. She's from this TV series Home and Away, and it's like this big Australian hit, and she's like this beautiful Australian actress.
Are all Australian girls that good looking? Like honestly, like Nicole Kidman, she's really good looking. Hugh Jackman, he's not a girl, but he's good looking too. And isn't Thor Australian?
Thor, Australian or New Zealand? I'm not sure, but we'll claim it as Australian anyways. Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't Russell Crowe Australian too?
Yeah.
Damn, you guys got a like pretty high average, batting average on that.
Yeah, we're doing well for ourselves, but it's I don't know. I don't think I fell into the lucky genes necessarily.
You're 6'3" and you play tennis.
Yeah.
And you got all the Singaporean girls swooning.
What can I say?
You said that you watch a lot of TV and movies when you're home?
Yeah, I like to watch a lot of girly shows. I watch a lot of Gossip Girl.
No shame. I enjoy a good rom-com myself.
Yeah, rom-coms, movies, TV shows, whatever it may be.
What are your favorites?
I watch lots of actual good shows as well. Been watching a lot of The Walking Dead. Been watching Community as well. I think it's hilarious. But Gossip Girl, Once Upon a Time, all these just cheesy
favorite character from Community.
Oh,
well, we'll do the easy one. Favorite female character from Community.
Annie.
Yeah, she's kind of young though.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Yeah. Try not to sexualize her.
Yeah, we'll try not to. But I watch a lot of girly stuff and listen to some, I guess, cheesy pop music as well, be it Katy Perry, Taylor Swift. My first choice is generally sort of your normal
Katy Perry.
Yeah, Katy Perry is, I guess.
You watched the movie?
Yeah, of course. I actually watched it on my way to Singapore. I was on the
Appreciate Katy Perry?
Appreciate her with all her assets.
Wow, nice. I appreciate her twice as much as a normal artist.
Yeah, I concur on that.
She's single now. You should go for it.
Well,
how would you approach her if she was just like sitting at a bus stop?
Unfortunately, I can't like pull the whole hey, look how many Twitter followers I have, because she's got me beat by like what good
factor of 10 probably.
15, factor of 10. She's got like a good 10, 15 million to my like
maybe
20,000.
Yeah. What would you say to her? Pretend I'm Katy Perry. I know it's hard. It's kind of a stretch, yeah. But what would be your move? Like, how would you approach her?
I don't think there would be a move. I think it would just be fumbling around like.
But you'd try. You would try though. You'd take a shot. You'd have to, right?
I guess I'd have to, but like
you can't just sit in the corner like. All your past what?
We're not going into this.
Yes, we are. We're not talking about Dota at all. This is what the people want to know. This is how we get hits on our interviews. Like we don't actually talk about the subject. We talk about personal lives and shit. So go ahead, tell us about your past. I've drawn it out of you.
My past failings. I'll end up in like tears at the end of this interview. I hope you have like some tissues nearby.
Yeah, we'll go get some right now. I'll give you a hug.
Shoulder to cry on or something.
Yeah. So you've had some rough situations in the past with girls or what?
I guess rough, just more pathetic and awkward at times.
Okay, tell me your most embarrassing story then.
Most embarrassing would probably be, I think probably year 10 when I was actually like.
You were 10 years old?
No, 10th grade.
I was like, man, you start early.
No. I wish. This was like before I was still living in Singapore, about to leave, and we had like this end of year formal. So, for one thing, the girl who I was really into, this Asian Singaporean girl, she was actually a model. She was really beautiful and attractive.
What was her name?
I am Jennifer.
You were like, I'm not gonna tell you. Oh shit, she's gonna Jennifer.
Yeah. So Jennifer Cheng.
Okay.
Convincing name.
Yeah. Look at you now, though. You're like famous. She missed out.
Yeah. Well,
tell me what happened. Go ahead.
For one thing, it took me. Firstly, I went to her friend, like letting her know. I was like, man, I'm really into this girl. I want to take her to the formal. And her friend's like, yeah. She even told me that she would say yes. And
wow.
She told me she would say yes, and it still took me about 6 weeks actually after.
6 weeks? What if someone asked her before then? Is that what happened?
Apparently 2 guys did. And this girl, the friend, she came to me. She's like, these like other 2 guys have asked her, and she told them like she's got to wait and see. Like she was basically waiting for me to ask her.
Wow. And what did you do?
It took me 6 weeks. I eventually it was like literally about a week before the formal event. I was the most awkward, 14, 15-year-old at the time possible.
Okay, yeah. Probably like really tall, like kind of gangly.
Yeah, I was not that confident. Even despite being like a good tennis player, being somewhat athletic, it was probably in the best shape of my life. Right now, I can't run for more than like 2 minutes before getting out of breath. Back then, I could just run a marathon, had such great cardio. But that was just the start of it. Actually, at the event, we actually went. It was just the most awkward time of my life. I guess that foolish
sweaty palms.
Yeah, sweaty palms. Everything about me. I don't know. It was just completely embarrassing. And one of my close friends who was actually performing. She was playing music at the thing. So she asked if I would she wanted to dedicate a song to me.
Oh,
and this
you
girl.
had the like easiest, best setup ever.
Yeah.
You had it in with the person playing the music.
Yeah.
You were dating this super hot Singaporean model kind of woman.
who wanted to go with me as well.
Yeah, who turned down all these guys, waited until a week before the event for you to ask her. You asked her, she said yes, you go, and you just bomb it, or what happened?
It's pretty much bombing it. I guess there was just like no smoothness in the way. Finally, there was a song request that comes out. I like awkwardly kind of like suggest we should go dance or do whatever, and she's just like looks at me. She could just tell I had like no confidence or desire to actually dance with her.
Wow,
She's like, I don't think it's a good idea. And then 15 seconds after I asked her, and she's like shut me down. Like I'm kind of just like, oh god. I'm kind of glad she said no, because I was not ready to get up there and dance.
What is like dancing, like slow dancing?
Yeah, like slow down.
How do you even fail slow dancing? You just kind of put your hands on her hips or whatever.
But
and
she,
then just...
she just didn't like, and there was also not many other people up there at the time because everyone was kind of eating, sitting down, and I'm just like, 15 seconds later, the person who was doing the music, she says, oh, this song was requested by me for this girl.
Oh,
and
no.
then she looks over at me like, oh, wow, and it got really awkward. I basically leave the room. I leave the room humiliated.
This is so good.
Whenever I hear this song,
What's the song?
I can't do this.
What's the song? What's the song? Tell us the song.
It's Boats and Birds.
I don't know that one.
Song. By, I can't remember who it's by anymore. It's a song called Boats and Birds, but it's like this singy, like chirpy little song about someone leaving. And it was actually quite appropriate because I was leaving Singapore like 2 months later. That was when I came back to the US. So after that, well, the night did not go too well for me, to say the least.
Well, you got some experience.
Yeah.
Well, that's at least good. You have a learning experience. You have a story to come out of it. And now thousands of people will know about it. Jennifer Chang, he's sorry. He's willing to meet you again sometime. What's she doing now? Lost touch?
She's in...
Oh, you know.
Yeah.
You're Facebook friends? Are you guys Facebook friends?
Maybe.
Oh, you guys are.
One of us is following the other, at least.
Okay, I see. I see how it goes.
No, yeah, we're still Facebook friends, but we message every now.
Fucking bounty hunter. You tracked her.
Yeah, just like that. But
exactly.
She's actually studying. I think she finished studying in Canada, but she's. I don't know if she's aware of what I do right now, anyways.
But you're famous now. You're like a caster, like a commentator.
Still only not quite Katy Perry famous though.
Oh well.
Maybe then I'll get her back.
Yeah, we need to play that song over. We'll dub the song over this video. You enjoy that?
I won't be able to watch it with a straight face. Well, I won't be able to watch it without like tears coming out down my face.
And okay, so you said you watch a bunch of TV shows. We talked about Gossip Girl. What else?
I don't know. What else? I like tea. I guess normal stuff. I've been watching a lot of tennis lately with the Australian Open on recently. I was luckily I was right before I moved to LA, so I got to go to the Australian Open. Last year I went to the US Open, so I've been
the US
spoiled.
Open.
Yeah, the US Open is really it freaking rains every year.
You been there?
I went there last year right after TI2. I flew over to New York to meet my mum. Actually went to TI2. That's an interesting fact that not a lot of people know. My mum was at TI2.
Mrs. Parker?
Yeah, Mrs. Parker. She's probably watching this interview right now.
How tall is she?
She's 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah, that's why that's where you get it. And what does she do for a living?
She used to do nursing, but now she's just a stay-at-home mum.
She enjoys your casts and stuff?
Not really.
Does she understand Dota?
No, but she just it was the first time I guess my parents were like totally understanding of what I actually did in esports. Like they kind of knew I'd been to events, done commentating, but they never really took it like as something which had like a long-term.
But then you raised the money, and you were like, "Look how much money we raised in like a month."
Yeah, and I think they were really impressed by that. They probably saw this Kickstarter, and they're like, "Okay, well, they're doing something and like getting some community funding and all." But now they're like, "Whoa, they just got like $40,000."
Yeah, they're like, my son has grown up.
Yeah, they were really impressed, and I think that's probably for me. Whenever I've done well in esports and grown my fan base, grown our viewership on Beyond the Summit, I think that's the one thing where I go back. I tell my parents, and I've got 3 sisters as well, who I probably talk to them almost every day or two on Skype. So I'm really close to my family.
Cool. Are they all in Australia or what?
My parents actually live in Canada. They're in St. John's, which is like middle of nowhere.
And what about your sisters?
They're all in Australia.
Oh, okay. And what do they do?
They all.
I don't want to get it. Okay, we have a lot of Dota fans. This is getting too. This is hitting too close to home. We don't want to get to. We want to get the sisters identities out there.
They're all studying right now. 2 of them are doing undergrad. One's doing postgrad.
So you're the big brother to three sisters. Did you ever have to intimidate some boyfriends?
I've got one. One of them's actually an older sister.
Oh, okay.
I'm the big brother to my two younger sisters, but I'm also kind of like, in some ways, the failure of the family.
Failure?
Not the failure. I'd say we're all really.
Okay, so you're a successful Dota 2 caster. You get flown around the world. You raise $40,000 in a company, and you're the failure of the four siblings? Are you kidding me?
Well, at least until maybe now, I guess, because
Okay.
I was the one who was incredibly smart, slept through school, played Dota till 4 or 5 in the morning, still got like top marks, had top GPA, and then went off to university and just bombed out.
Yo, that happens to everyone, though. Happens to a lot of people.
I went to 3 different universities. I did 4 or 5 different courses. Every one of them, I just said, no, can't be bothered. I'm just going to play Dota instead. So I was, I couldn't really find my place in university, but now I ended up, I guess, somewhat successful in the esports.
So you heard it here first. This is what you got to do. You bomb out of university, play video games all the time, and then, become a really successful caster. It's a 1, 2, 3 recipe for success, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Highly recommend it.
And I heard you watch some other TV shows. You watch HBO, right?
I watch HBO. Oh yeah, I love watching Girls.
I watch Girls too. It's about female characters, but that doesn't matter because we can enjoy them because we're confident in our masculinity, right, GoDz?
Absolutely. That's why I listen to Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and you have no problem admitting it. I know a lot of people are like, deep down, they are a little scared getting it out there, but whatever. You like what you like.
It's got some great. I think it was was it second episode of the series where after the main character and her boyfriend finish having sex, and he's like, "Do you want a Gatorade?" And after that line, I'm like, "This show is just the most clever show." I'm just gonna. I knew I would never be able to drop this show. It's just I'm like,
who's your favorite character? Which one of you do you care about the most?
Probably Shoshana.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
Yeah, I think. I don't know.
Have you ever met someone that's like that? Because there are people that are actually like that.
Yeah, I knew one person like that. It was actually in the US. I don't think there's anyone like that outside of the US though.
She's super hyper and just crazy, hilarious crazy,
and just totally naive to how anything works in the real world. But people like her are really fun to hang out with, and just it's very, I guess, enlightening about it sort of reminds you hey, enjoy yourself, and I don't know.
The really hot girl in that, Marnie,
yeah.
Her father is a famous broadcaster in the US, right?
Yeah, I haven't heard of the guy. I'm not really.
Brian Williams. He's famous. He's on MSNBC. He's a very attractive dude. He's old, but he's, distinguished.
Yeah.
She's a good voice.
She's an alright voice.
She was in a music video. She did singing.
No, no, she's very attractive. I've got to say. I'm a bit.
No Katy Perry though.
She's no Katy Perry. Unfortunately, I'm also a bit sick of seeing the main character naked every episode. I mean,
Lena Dunham.
It's not something a guy would normally complain about with a TV show, but it's. I don't know.
She's not the traditionally attractive woman. I would say, but
that's
I don't really mind
of the show. I mean, I don't really mind, but hey, tits are out every episode.
Yeah, it's HBO. They got to do it.
Yeah.
So, any other hobbies you do, or other than Dota?
At the moment, probably not. I don't know. I love traveling. Going to Singapore. I've spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia. I actually lived in Thailand for 6 months and just love traveling around.
Do you any kickboxing?
No.
Jean-Claude Van Damme kickboxing.
I wish I was more athletic. Unfortunately, I've next to no athletic ability.
Let yourself go a little bit.
Yeah, it was.
You should play some tennis tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm keen to play some tennis.
Be Michael Chang. You can be Patrick Rafter.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably what I love. Actually, just following Patrick Rafter, going for that serve and volley. Despite it, I had this massive serve, but I was just so awkward moving to the net, being all tall and gangly that my follow up was not quite as impressive as his.
Okay. Well, I mean, we spent probably the majority of the interview talking about non-Dota, which is good because I bet you get asked that all the time about what's your favorite hero? What's your favorite team? But a lot of things have happened in the Dota scene recently. What are your thoughts on which can the Chinese teams be beaten at TI3? Let's make a prediction right now.
IG, no.
No, they're gonna just run through the tournament.
They're just on a class of their own. The thing is, they can just take. Maybe they don't adapt in one game, but in a long series, they'll always adapt, and they'll take something you're using and do it better. Generally speaking, they don't even have to take something you're using. They'll come up with their own strategies. They're not a team who relies on sort of improving other team strategies. That's kind of where LGD shine, the Chinese team. So they're a team who I think can be beat, because if you come up with something new and unique, they can't just suddenly switch their playstyle mid-tournament, start changing their picks and adapting. I think DK are a team who've been recently playing quite badly, but definitely. I mean, they were actually the first team to beat LGD International, something that a lot of people seem to forget. In the G League, they beat them in the group stage, even though, funnily enough, they didn't even qualify for the playoffs. Because
Yeah, that was crazy. They lost to that random team that I didn't even know.
yeah, they lost to 4Love, who were at the time not really considered to be all that strong. So that was a bit of a surprise. And I think, as far as the Western teams go, I think they're in for a bit of a shock when they go up against the Chinese teams, especially with some of their picks and play styles. Heroes like Wisp, I just don't think will work very well against the Chinese. But I think there's some teams out there.
Wisp's so imba, though. Come
I,
on, Wisp is imba.
I think it's just this overhype around the hero. I honestly think if teams just basically gave Wisp away every game and got used to versing him, they'd quickly realize, hey, this hero is really easy to deal with. I think it's just this... teams are just in this mindset where the hero is really strong. This is how you use him. This is how you lose to him. So they keep on losing to him in the same way.
So how would you rank the non-Chinese teams? Give me a top 5.
Well, I think when they verse each other, I think it's put the top 5. I think it's different. If you're looking at the international, the top 5 teams who will do well against the Chinese is different to the top 5 teams who do well in the Western scene.
Give me the top 5 that will do well at the international 3.
I think Liquid's definitely up there. They've got some picks and play style which will do well. Apart from that, obviously Na'Vi. I think Virtus Pro have the potential to do well at the international too, should they go. I think those to me are the top 3. I think outside of those 3 teams, it's sort of a bit of a drop off.
No
there.
Empire?
I think
They
Empire
lost their guy, huh? Yeah,
I mean, they
that's
lost
too bad.
their guy, and I feel they're just a bit too.
They got poached.
Yes, they're just a bit
Sniped.
too predictable with what they do, game in, game out. It's just I don't think their kind of play style will do too well against the Chinese. I think they do really well in their.
Are you sad Light of Heaven retired?
I am. I think I have a lot of fond memories of him back from Dota 1. I love watching him play back when he was sort of the carry for his team. It was really when he was on the first team who managed to beat the unbeatable KS International team with Puppy. So there's a lot of fond memories of that guy.
Okay, well, I think that's enough for now. We had a pretty long interview, but thank you for sitting down with us. Do you want to have some shout-outs or whatever? First, let me shout out to Jennifer, right? Jennifer. Yeah. Who else?
Shout out to Jennifer. Shout out to my family, as always, my parents, my 3 sisters who support me, and to everyone who's a follower of Beyond the Summit and help.
Big things coming soon.
Yeah, big things coming soon. And I mean, as we've said countless times, big thanks to everyone who contributed to our Kickstarter and made all this possible, our move to LA.
You got 3 people, like the grand prize was like visiting you or whatever.
Yeah.
Gonna make a vid or something of them coming over?
We'll do something special with them. We've got 3 people who donated 2.5k, and I'm really looking forward to meeting some of those guys. One of them I've seen tweeting some funny stuff as well, so I think they did. Hopefully they're normal.
You guys stack with them. You guys got 2 of you guys, 3 of them.
Yeah. There we go. New BTS roster. We got to get some. We lost the GD studio. That was kind of embarrassing.
I watched that. Yeah. I won't bring that up.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Talk about that later.
Yeah. So maybe we need to get